So what are the 5 best niches to go into with local affiliate, pay-per-call, pay-per-lead, SEO? Hey everyone, Matt Wacek here. Welcome back to a brand new video. Today I want to lay out some of the top niches that are not only the highest paying, because that's, I know, what a lot of people are after, but also some of the ones that are going to be the lowest competition and are going to get you paid the fastest, because sometimes that matters more than waiting 6 months for your first commission to go into a super competitive niche. So let's get into my computer and take a look at some of these niches. All right, so to start things off, the highest paying niche is going to be the restoration niche. So these are going to be water damage repair, fire smoke restoration, super urgent needs for a service when someone has just experienced something really terrible. So whether their house got flooded from a pipe that broke in their basement, or pipe that froze because their heater broke, or the snow melt and their landscaping basically slopes to their house, so all the water ran to their basement, flooded everything, wrecked the sheetrock, all that sort of stuff. Maybe they're by a body of water that flooded because of the snow melt or just a ton of rain, or they had a fire from lightning strike, house fire, something like that. Any whole host of issues like that. So the valuation of each one of those leads is very, very high because of the fact that it's an urgent need. Now, there's a lot of competition for these leads, especially if you get into the big cities. So unless you have a big budget and a lot of patience, I would really recommend staying away from any big city over a population of even 50,000 up to 75, maybe 100. It really depends on where that city is located. So I'm going to address this now because I'm sure someone will leave a comment below regarding this niche, which is the rehab niche. So alcohol, drug addiction, recovery, those types of niches, because the valuation of those leads is incredibly high. You're talking $400 up to $800 per qualified lead. And I know for some of you guys that's low-hanging fruit, because some of these niches are just untouched for some of these cities, and just one of those qualified leads a month is going to be life-changing money. Imagine what you can do with a big nationwide site that is super optimized to convert. But there's a lot of volatility in that niche, so I personally have no sites in that rehab niche whatsoever, and I'm not planning on doing anything in the future with that niche as well, because of the fact that there's so many rules and regulations and laws that are coming into place and that have been enacted, especially in certain states, where people that were doing like referrals, and they may have been doing some crazy sketchy stuff. I don't know the exact specifics on it, but I saw it and I realized that, okay, it's not even worth it. It's frankly not even worth it. I'd rather just go with home services, because it's pretty unlikely there's going to be anything shady going on like there can be in that rehab niche. I'm not saying it's all like that, but there can be some of that, because people have obviously been sent to jail, have gotten massive fines for doing that. And if you want to learn more about that, just go look it up. Just Google it. It's been really big in certain states. And for me, it basically said, okay, well, let's just not even mess around with it, because I don't want to jeopardize anything in the future for my future business revenue and anything like that. It's not worth it. I personally would rather just work in some of these niches and also some of the lower competition ones, which I'm going to share with you here in a couple minutes, and just put in the work. And rather than just going for that low-hanging fruit like I know a lot of people want to do, the volatility of it is really not positive in my opinion. So those are my thoughts on that whole niche. All right, the next highest paying niche is the solar panel installation, and these can bring in up to $60 per lead. And in terms of high value, untouched niches, this is definitely one of the top ones out there, because of the fact that it's just a really new service. It's not like plumbing and the other ones that have been around for decades and decades and decades. This is something that is increasingly more and more popular, especially in the southern states where there's more sun. They're closer to the equator, the sun's more powerful, and people are more apt to do it, rather than up in the northern states where there's a lot of cloud cover in the wintertime and the sun's just not as strong. So this is definitely an untapped niche I'd recommend looking into. I'm actually going to build out a site in this niche here later this week, because I like the potential of it. And even if it only generates a couple leads a month, that's still doing pretty well if you're able to get 30, 40, 50, $60 per lead. Now the next one ties into the first niche, which was the restoration niche, and this usually is not as quite as an emergency as something like a fire damage repair or water damage repair, but mold removal, mold remediation is a service that has to be done. Otherwise, you're breathing in really bad air, and it's not good because all that bacteria. So these are definitely high value leads with pretty good competition. It's not quite as high as water damage, but it is a competitive niche, and the leads are higher value. So a lot of these high paying niches, you're going to get the best results with these smaller cities. So the suburbs, the outlying cities maybe that are in like the middle of a state that have a population of like 50,000 at most. And that's where you're going to be able to see a good amount of traffic in a reasonable amount of time, because the competition isn't astronomically high like if you were trying to rank for water damage LA. And so the next highest paying niche is the air conditioning and heating niche. And basically the acronym for that is HVAC. I can't remember what the V stands for, but the H is for heating, AC is for air conditioning. So air conditioning units, both residential and commercial properties, especially down in the southern states where it is hot, that is an urgent need if it breaks. So emergency repair of those is another really good niche. However, it's going to be competitive as well. Same thing with furnace repair in the northern states. And the thing with that in the northern states is that, yeah, while someone's not going to be very comfortable if it's 100 degrees outside and their AC doesn't work, but if you're in the northern states and their furnace stops working, that puts a lot of things into jeopardy in terms of the urgency that the heater needs to be fixed. Because if the temperatures drop in that building or that house or property, whatever it is, the pipes can freeze and a whole host of other things can really go wrong, causing some expensive damages. So I would actually go to say that furnace repair in the northern states is probably going to be more valuable than air conditioning repair in the south. And I mean, they're both equally important in terms of the services, but hopefully you get some ideas from just that niche right there and what you can target with your sites. So the next one that is the highest paying is a tie between plumbing and electricians. So up to about $30 per lead. And these are with Lead Smart's pricing as well, by the way. But those are tied right in line with each other. And this will, of course, vary depending on the location and the service provider and what the service actually is that the person wants to purchase or get a quote for. So those are really good niches. And in terms of competition, electricians and plumbing in the big cities is going to be equally as competitive as it is for the restoration niches as well. So definitely be aware of that going into it. But usually with plumbing and electrician related services, there is a lot more volume with those services than there is with the water damage. So just some things to keep in mind. And so lastly, I wanted to give you guys some ideas for some of the niches that you can target either with a single page site that is targeting just this service and just this service only in a particular city, or you have a single city focused site with maybe 5 or 10 service pages that have these services on there if it falls into the broad category. So let's just take lawn care, for example, because it's easy for me to explain. You have a lawn care St. Cloud, Minnesota website. And so what you can do is you obviously optimize that homepage all for lawn care St. Cloud, and for St. Cloud only. Do not be mixing other cities into this. All it's going to do is just throw it all out of whack. Just focus one single keyword, one single city for the homepage. Then what you would, unless of course it's a City Page Pro site or Magic Page plugin, where that's a whole other discussion where you're going for tons and tons of different keywords, but that's another subject for another video. But so what you need to do is you take each of your service pages that fall under the category of lawn care. So these would be leaf removal, lawn dethatching, lawn cleanup, the lawn aeration, lawn fertilizing, all of those little services that fall underneath that category. And you super optimize those individual service pages for that service in that city. So fertilizing in St. Cloud, Minnesota, lawn aeration in St. Cloud, Minnesota, leaf removal, St. Cloud, Minnesota, and you get the idea from here. So same thing with plumbing. This can work with toilet repair, with faucet and sink replacement, and all the other services that fall into that category. For electricians, this would be like home generator installation, or electrical panel installation, or upgrading, rewiring, or new wiring, new system installation, those types of services that fall underneath the category. Another one here is landscape supply delivery, mulch delivery in city-state, or decorative rock delivery in city-state. And these are just a sample, by the way. This is far from being a complete list. These are just the few ones that popped up in my head as I was typing these out. So basically what you want to do is whatever industry you're targeting, look through the company websites that you see ranking and see what other service pages they have and basically replicate it. You can do a single city, single service site like this. You could do leaf removal St. Cloud and have it be a one-page site. However, I would really err on the side of going with a broad term for the homepage. Just make sure the city population isn't too crazy high and the competition isn't too crazy high. And what you can do is build out those service pages. And as you build trust and authority in that homepage, link juice is going to flow to those service pages, and you're going to see these pages rank. And depending on how competitive the city is, for some of these services like leaf removal, dethatching, you may see once your page is built, and as long as you optimize the meta title, meta description, and the on page, that page might show up on the second or first page as soon as it gets indexed, because it's just that untapped. And even if there is a company that either falls into one of these categories where their web designer knew what they're doing, with their on-page and setting up meta title, meta description. They hired an SEO company that was able to optimize for that, or it's another local affiliate SEO marketer, of which for most smaller cities, any of these three is frankly pretty rare. So you can either go out there and build a single city site that's maybe all about landscape supply delivery in whatever city that it is that you're targeting. But I really like the idea of going with the broad term for whatever that city is for the homepage, getting a bunch of links sent to it, the citations, all that's going to be built to that homepage. And as the homepage builds a lot of trust and authority, it's going to start carrying up these other service pages, the leaf removal, the lawn cleanup, the dethatching, those pages. It's going to bring those up in the search results as well. And if you have that homepage ranking, but then you see some of these service pages that are not quite ranking, you can always send a PBN link to those pages, get that to skyrocket up the search results as well. So hopefully this will help you guys with going out there, finding a niche and creating content about it. And what you need to really do, I've said this in previous videos, is you need to learn the industry that you're building a website all about, because it's going to allow you to better communicate the service to the people viewing the website, and they're going to be more likely to convert. So anyways, if you got this far in the video and you're going to actually go out there and take action, I appreciate if you went down below, dropped a like on this video. And if you're not already part of our ever-growing family, go down below, smash that subscribe and hit the bell for notifications so you know when all the newest content comes live. And if you want to get more in-depth training on how to build a website, rank that website in the organic search results, and monetize it with a local affiliate offer, there are links right down below to our courses where you can get access to the guided step-by-step training and a whole lot more. So with all that said, I will see you guys in the next video.